This video is to introduce you to the second composition, which is the set brief composition. The idea is that the exam board set a scenario and you respond to it with a piece of music. This is the brief. Using appropriate elements, techniques and resources, compose a piece of music to be used as the title theme for a new investigative crime series. You will need to write a program note of around 150 words. You will need to produce a recording and some form of written score or annotated document. You will need to reference particular areas of study: harmony, rhythm, melody, tonality, texture, structure, etc. You will need to highlight how the music is suitable to the genre and for its intended audience. When writing for television, composers will consider some crucial aspects to accurately reflect and sum up the feel for the whole programme. These include: when is the programme set, in the present or in the past? Where is the programme set? Which country? What kind of area? What kind of person is the main character or characters if it's a team? Are they serious, competent, incompetent? What is the mood of the on-screen action? And who is the intended audience? Some of the choices you might make. Don't spend too long on dreaming up a full series, because that's not the task. You just need a rough outline of what this TV programme is. Remember that whatever kind of TV programme you conjure up, it's been done before. So research the genre and use that as your inspiration. So is it past, present or future? Is it slow-paced and moody or action-packed? Serious or light-hearted? Where is it set? What country? What kind of environment? Urban, rural, gritty, high class and posh? Which channel and at what time? Who's the audience? So for instance, is it a tea time audience or is it a late night programme? These choices will help you decide on the musical aspects. For instance, the instruments. You might go for traditional or something more modern. The mood. Is it fast rhythms, ostinatos and stabs, or is it slow and ponderous? Is it major or minor? When and where? Use the instruments and the techniques to reflect the time and place your programme is set. For example, how would you make a programme set in Paris sound like it's happening in Paris? Clichés and conventions. Be aware of similar TV themes and the tricks and devices they use. I'll give you some guidance on this in a minute. Adapt these for your own music. Starting to compose can be quite daunting. With a blank canvas, it's often difficult to know where to start. So here are some possible ways you could start. I do recommend that you make a short brief, an outline about your programme, just to give you a starting point. You could then analyse an existing TV theme that is within the same genre and look for elements that you could borrow. You could just put down a rhythm track, a simple drum loop that you can improvise and compose on top of, because I think that can be nicer than just having that click going on, which can be quite off-putting. If you're organised about these things, some people like to spend time creating their collection of instruments first, thinking about genre, time and place, and that can help them get some ideas about how they're going to actually start putting the music in. Another way, and what I like to do, is improvise with some chords and try out some musical cliches. So I'll give you some advice on that now, actually. Okay, so just in case it helps, I'm going to just show you how I might try and tackle something like this. I've decided that it's going to be in a minor key, and I'm going to use D minor. And this gives me the opportunity to use something called the Dorian mode, which is all the white notes from D to D. Now the great thing about the Dorian mode is that I can pretty much play any white notes or even chords using white notes and it'll sound great. I'm going to keep a pedal in the D in the left hand side and then just move around my right hand just to see how it sounds. could already probably come up with a melody to go along with that. Something like that. I've got other things that are available to me, so let's talk about the James Bond move, which is a bit of a cliche. If I look at the top note here, if I move it up a semitone and then another semitone, I get a really standard classic move. Now, I wouldn't recommend you actually use that, but you could use an idea of using that semitone movement up there to come up with something that will be evocative of that sort of spy detective theme. I could also put in a couple of extra notes as well. Let's make this a minor 7. Something about TV theme tunes, detective theme tunes, I think, is that it likes dissonance. It likes clashes because that adds an element of suspense. Here's another cliche we could use, the minor but with a major 7th. Classic. So all these notes up here are kind of working to give me that sense of intrigue. I can add extra notes to a chord to add more colour to it. So let's say I added a second to it. Again, you've got that clashing frequency there, which gives you that mysterious sound. Now, because I've got D here already, maybe I don't need this D here. I'd like to add a 7th, a dominant 7th on this. Now, so far, our left hand has been very much stuck on the D here, which sets us up nicely to move somewhere else. So let's think about those primary chords. Well, we're in the minor key here. So we could go to a 4th and a 5th and maybe make the 5th a major, which sets up that leading note up to D. Well, using the Dorian mode and maybe adding some colour is one way we could do it. Another way we could do it is perhaps looking at something a little bit more exciting, like an ostinato. Imagine a chase scene, I guess. Now, what we could do here is add a bluesy note, because a lot of these TV detective theme tunes have an element of jazz and blues to it. So in D, if I add this note, which is a sharp 4th, what I could do is maybe change the chords in the right hand whilst keeping that riff going in the left. So let's see. Okay, well, there's a few ideas there. Make a note of the ones that you thought sounded good, and well, let's see how it works for you.